grab the wisdom and run with it, a mentee's story. Is Avril Crotty ready to go? Please welcome Avril Crotty.
Good morning, thank you. Oh my goodness. I'd love to say my voice is because I've been on the set all weekend, but it's the result of having a toddler at home, so I will try my best to speak clearly. Good morning, I'm absolutely delighted to be here. My name is Avril Crotty. I am the conductor, and I am here to talk to you today about my experience as a mentee on the Minding Creative Minds mentorship programme. Also, a little more bit of housekeeping. Don't worry, I have no plans on popping today, so we'll be fine. So everyone can just take a breath. When I got the title of this presentation, Grab the Wisdom and Run with It, I'll be honest, I kind of struggled a little bit with how to approach it. What does grabbing the wisdom mean, and whose wisdom was it really? But first, if the clicker will work, there we go. Who exactly am I? So as well as being a parent, I'm also I have no idea where to point this to. Musician, I'm a conductor, and I'm also an artistic director. I've worked in the performing arts since 2008 and have worn many hats in my time then. Like many creatives, you kind of work in everything. So I've done marketing, education, program development, production, event management, artist management, stage management, the list goes on and on and on. So on paper, it seems like I have done and seen an awful lot. So why would someone like me want to take part in a mentorship program? Well, being honest, it goes back to 2020, and I don't need to tell you what happened then. So like nearly everyone in the arts, I lost my job when COVID hit. Because as we all know, when crap hits the fan, the arts are the first to suffer and the last ones to regain any bit of ground. And if I'm completely honest, when that happened, I genuinely felt like the world had crumbled beneath me. It seemed that my career was very much linked with who I am as a person, and I think we can all relate to that as creatives. And when you can't create anymore, I really took a beating. But in that time of reflection, I decided that I wouldn't let another person or organisation dictate what my career would be like. I decided then that I wanted complete autonomy over what I would do with my career and my life. And I also decided that I would try something I always wanted to do, but was absolutely too scared to do it. But given what was going on in the world at the time, and the uncertainty around everything, what was the worst that could happen? So I decided to pursue orchestral conducting. I was very lucky in that I knew people already in that career who were extremely giving and very helpful with their advice and their time. And literally just before the pandemic struck, even the night before lockdown happened, I was on the podium. So I was getting some time, which was fabulous. But being honest, I still felt very lost. So fast forward through the pandemic, and as it was ending, I became a mother for the first time. So while the world was kind of figuring out what it was doing, so was I. I'd become aware of the mentorship program by following Minding Creative Minds through COVID and just keeping up to date with what they were doing. But genuinely, as someone from the Irish classical music scene, I didn't think it was for me. And that was my major mistake. And I will tell you why, because of the amazing experience. So when I applied, might as well put up the last one, yeah. When I applied, there were 3 things that I wanted to get from my mentorship program. The first was guidance. I had an idea that was niggling my brain for ages and ages and ages, and I just wasn't sure how to approach it. How to start it, and being honest, if it was actually worth doing. Perspective was the second thing. You know, when you get really, really stuck and obsessed with an idea, it can be really easy to kind of lose the more simple of details. And that's where having a mentor was actually amazing. And the third one is knowledge. I knew that the mentors who work with Minding Creative Minds have immense, and still do have immense knowledge about the creative industries in Ireland. So we were always going to get someone of top quality. Believe me, any barrier you're facing at the moment, they have probably faced it or know someone who's faced it and know exactly where to get the answers. So, there we go. What was my experience like? In one short word, fantastic. Thank you very much. No. It was genuinely, though, it was fantastic. I got matched with Clea Donnellan, who is an Irish trad musician. She is a producer, curator, arts facilitator. She's not here right now, so I can big her up and embarrass her. But she's also speaking on a panel later today, so you'll all get a chance to see how amazing she is. I have to say, Mind and Creative Minds definitely knew what they were doing when they matched the two of us up. On paper, we're like chalk and cheese. She's an Irish traditional musician, I'm a classical musician. Very, very different houses. But at our core, as well as being very strong Munster women, we're also musicians and artists. And I think that's what really, really spoke to us. And I think having someone from a different musical background, such as trad, really, really helped, because she approached my mentorship from a different perspective. And she asked questions that I genuinely hadn't considered because they were so obvious to me in the classical music sphere. She really, really sought to understand my perspective, and at the same time offered me a different point of view as well. So I have to say it was fantastic. In total, we had 3 sessions, which is what you get, between November and January, just gone. And I also do have to commend her on her patience, because I had to reschedule a couple of times due to first trimester fun. So she was absolutely fantastic in that. Next slide, please. Thank you. So, what was the results? I'd like to introduce you to my current second child, Eru Orchestra. So, Eru Orchestra was born or launched in March 2024, nearly 2 years after the birth of my first actual child. We had our debut concert on the 17th of May 2024. That is not a typo. In 2 months, I created, launched, and conducted a brand new ensemble in Dublin's Unitarian Church. I have been tested, I'm not mad. But I have to say, it was amazing, and I'm really happy that 2 of our musicians are in the audience as well today, so thank you so much for coming. The mission of the orchestra is to highlight Irish classical music, and that to show that it has a right to be performed alongside European classics like Dvorak and Mendelssohn. We're very lucky to work with the Contemporary Music Centre. I can't say enough nice things about the guys there. And we got to perform a work by a living composer, another Cork woman, Linda Buckley, and we were absolutely delighted to have a phenomenal violinist, Mairead Hickey, also another Cork woman, perform our Mendelssohn D minor concerto. She's actually playing in the NCH tonight, so if no one has plans, I highly recommend you go and see. I learned so much from doing this project, and a lot of it was down to the help I got from Clea as my mentor. Mainly it was creating a timeline. She was one of the first people to know that I was expecting again, so she knew the deadline was tight. But instead of telling me I was absolutely mental, don't do it, wait till after the baby's born, she was like, okay, how do we do this? She was very logical in her steps, and I have to say that was so helpful. And we talked about every single detail, from marketing, promotion, which comes first, players or the program, why pick the pieces I picked, every single detail. And I have to say the notes from our last session became my Bible. That A4 sheet that I'd scribbled everything down was referenced so many times, it was completely dog-eared. But I really wanted to make sure that I did not miss a single detail. But enough of me talking. The next slide is going to be a little snippet of that first concert, including audio and images from our one and only weekend rehearsal that we had in St. Agnes's Community Centre for Music and the Arts in Crumlin. So hopefully it'll play. Oh, it is playing, but there's no audio. No. Oh, wait. I'm just going to keep talking because I appreciate you all being very quiet, so thank you. So that just shows what's achievable in 2 months if you just grab the wisdom and run with it. And I have to say, it wasn't the wisdom I just got from Clee, but it was also the wisdom she reminded me that I had myself, that I brought to the table from the experience I had to date. And I think as creatives, we can get lost in an imposter syndrome and forget the values and the experiences that we do bring as well. But that's a talk for another day. Anyway, what's next? Despite the obvious, I am hoping to do another concert with Eru in November. I'm going to bring it back to the motherland in Cork. And I want to grow it instrument-wise as well. So if anyone is interested in collaborating or knows anyone, please say hello. I have a few collaborative projects in 25 as well, but I can't say much more than that, unfortunately. For me, I equate this profession as a marathon. There's a reason that very old guys still do this. So I want to try and find more opportunities to do podium time, mastering my craft and technique. And I've been told to wrap up. Last slide, and I will leave you with this. Okay? So the title of this presentation was Grab the Wisdom and Run with It. Okay? And this is exactly what the Minding Creative Minds mentorship program will do. Okay? It will give you the wisdom, it will give you the guidance, but it also will remind you that you have your own wisdom as well. And if you need further clarification, this woman is my grandmother, and this is a mantra she always gave me. There's no such thing as can't, only won't, which means no barrier is completely impossible to overcome. You just have to find your own way around. Thank you very much for having me today and for listening.